Recap after midnight, 12:53 a.m. here in the East Coast of the United States of America, as the Florida Panthers go to Seattle, Washington on their very first of very long road trip. And it starts off with the Florida Panthers taking on the Seattle Kraken in Seattle, Washington. And for the second time in franchise history, first time in 2 years, and first time in 2 years as well, the Panthers not only get a score in, but also win in Seattle, Washington, as during Seattle's existence franchise, this it hasn't been going well since we go to Seattle. Like in their expansion season, they beat us in the sweep. Second season, we beat them 5-1, I think. And then the third season, we got shut out 4-0, if you remember that recap from last year. So in this one, it's Sergei Bobrovsky going up against Joey Daccord, and Daccord was just in a whole nother level, but so was Bobrovsky. All it takes is a couple of hiccups, and they're locked in since then. It's raining quite hard in this one. So I want to try to get through this as fast as I possibly can, because the shootout, because it went all the way to shootout, and it's 12:55 a.m. This was actually the worst case scenario, because number one, I am exhausted, and number two, I got an early shift tomorrow, so I got to do this quickly. So it starts off with a face-off win with Seattle with Beniers against Barkov. The first shot on target came with Seattle with Matty Beniers with the tip-in that was saved by Bobrovsky. A couple of shots on target for Florida, which didn't go anywhere. They started to become more aggressive soon after. Jared McCann, a former Panther, as well as Josh Mahura, who didn't play today, and I think the biggest one of all, Brandon Montour, who all of them received their rings from the Florida Panthers, I believe. It's not McCann, but Montour and Mahura. But I do miss Monty. He was the biggest reason why the two back-to-backs finals appearance that happened. If he didn't score that game-tying goal in the Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Bruins a couple of years ago, we would never talk about this at all. So I really thank him a lot. But in this game, it's foe to foe. Nothing against Montour. I love Montour. But it's business, and we got to take care of ours. So Jared McCann tries to shoot that stuff. He's shooting the puck well. That hit the crossbar one of the times. And then there was a first penalty of the game from Thomas Nosek called for a slash and a stick away from Mitchell Stevens. It's Mitchell Stevens, right? He gets called for a slash in. Seattle goes on the power play. During their power play, Vince Dunn with the slap shot that was saved by Bobrovsky. That was a great save by Bobrovsky. And that penalty is killed off. They only had one shot on target. A pretty good penalty kill by the Florida Panthers. Then a couple of minutes later, there will be another penalty, but this time it's on Seattle. It's Shane Wright with a tripping against Sam Bennett. I mean, that is a clear and obvious trip. Now, during that power play, there was a deflection wide from Reinhart. Carter Verhaeghe with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Daccord. Verhaeghe again, that was also saved by Daccord. And then a couple of blocked shots from Larson, and that penalty would wind up being killed off. Mackie Samson-Kevich tries to shoot the puck. Rodriguez hit the post, which was unfortunate. And then Kulikov with the wrist shot, but that was also saved by Daccord, who has been playing really good hockey. But then a turnover given up by the Florida Panthers to McCann, and then eventually the breakaway happened, in which the Florida Panthers just cannot stop breakaways. They're having a really tough time stopping breakaways. It's been like that for a couple of years now. And this one was no different, as Seattle would get the score opportunity first, and they would score first. He is assisted by Jared McCann. That's his 14th assist of the season. And Yanni Gord, that's his 9th assist of the season. And it's off the wrist shot, off the breakaway. It's Chandler Stevenson with his 3rd goal of the season for the Kraken. And Kraken leads this one 1-0 over the Florida Panthers. So that's tough. That is really tough. Since then, Bobrovsky has not given up anything else. Very close, but he wasn't. But he wasn't giving up anything. Since then, Florida's become very aggressive. Now, already aggressive enough with the Panthers team that's already shot the puck more than 10 times. The Kraken have not shot a lot of pucks. I think that was their third or fourth shot on target, and they scored on this one. This one makes it so frustrating with the teams playing like the Florida Panthers did. You are aggressively on offense, but you give up one hiccup in the defensive side, and it's just becoming absolute torture. But since then, a lot of shots on target with Kulikov, Samsonov, Gustav Forsling. Chandler Stevenson tries the backhand to get a second of the game, but Bobrovsky saw it and saved it. Beniers with this wrist shot, and then that's how the first period ends. Seattle leading 1-0 going to the second period. Second period starts off. Florida still coming out swinging. They are much more aggressive now. They are shooting the puck more with Gustav Forsling and Samsonov. Aaron Ekblad gets blocked by his own teammate, Greer. Barakovsky with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Bobrovsky. Gustav Forsling with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Decord. And Brandon Montour with the wrist shot, that was saved by Bobrovsky. Never thought I'd say this. And now Nate Schmidt almost ties the game up, but that hit off the crossbar, which sucks on its own right. Not a lot of shots on target after that until in the 14th minute. BARKOV with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Decord once again. Reinhart with the slap shot, but that was also saved by Decord. Then Seattle goes on the attack with Borgen with the slap shot, but Bobrovsky have it. And Borgen again with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Bobrovsky. And if you remember those two guys, Borgen or Gord, I think it was Gord, Yanni Gord. He was from the Tampa Bay Lightning team. Lundell just shoves him away, and then it became a whole scuff, a whole fight that happened. They had history between each other. He was from the Lightning, Lundell being in Florida, well, South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. This was a history in the making with them too, and it's just no different. Unfortunately, for some reason, Lundell was the only one that got called for a roughing. So Seattle goes on the power play, and they didn't even get a shot on target. Instead, Aaron Ekblad off the shorthanded chance, off the odd man rush, but oh my gosh, that was almost in. All they needed was that little bit more accuracy with that shot. But even then, Joey Court stopped that breakaway. He is that good of a goaltender. Now this penalty is killed off. After the penalty is killed off, though, finally we get a goal off a one-timer. He is assisted by none other than Sam Reinhart. That's his 20th assist of the season. And off the slap shot one-timer, BARKOV finally gets by Joey Decord to tie this game 1-1 heading into the third period. And this was massive because knowing how Florida is when they're leading or tying at the third, they are much more comfortable and they are much more aggressive, and they can play hockey when they could. So that alone is bigger than most in this game. To beat Joey Decord on the one-timer on the right side is even bigger. Oh, captain, my captain. And that's how the second period ends. Tied up. 1-1 going into the third. Third period in the West Coast. Midnight approached. And we are at 12 a.m. Tanaf with a deflection, but that was saved by Bobrovsky. And then there'll be a early penalty against Seattle. It is Jamie Alexiak with a tripping call against Kulikov. I mean, that was right behind. I believe that was right behind Decord when this happened. During this power play, there was no shot on target. However, Matt Tkachuk was close. Unfortunate bounce off above the crossbar. It's just what keeps the game at 1-1. That penalty would be killed off. And then Nosek gets called for interference against Shane Wright. There was a little bit of scuffle but nothing that went crazy like Winnipeg and Boston had earlier today. Did you see that? So Nosek gets called for interference against Wright. Seattle goes on the power play. Now, during that power play, Vince Dunn with the slap shot, but Bobrovsky has it. And the rest of the time, the penalty would be killed off. There was a wrist shot by McCann, which I think that was also saved by Bobrovsky. I don't know why. ESPN said error. But that penalty would be killed off anyway. So after that penalty, Barkov tries a wrist shot, but Decord has it, and Decord is just stopping all the pucks. But so is Bobrovsky since he gave up that first goal. So was he. And this frustrates the Florida Panthers. They feel like they could have had a lot more points in, but I don't know how in the world Seattle is 14-14. They are 500. They are a 500 team. They are a 500 team. But I feel like that record should have been higher because of how good the defense is, how good the pressure from the Seattle side is, and the goaltending is just absolutely marvelous. How are they 14-14-1 at this point? Anyway, Matthew Tkachuk, or actually Adam Larson first with the wrist shot that was saved by Bobrovsky, and then Matthew Tkachuk gets blocked by his own teammate. Great. Matthew Tkachuk gets blocked by, well, I almost said by his own teammate, but I realized Montour is part of the Seattle team. Gosh, I missed him. Forsling tries to wrist shot it. Decord, of course, has it. And then another thing with Seattle is they're blocking shots. Like Alexiak is blocking some shots in. Montour, like I said. Tanaf is blocking shots. There's so many more Seattle players that are just absolutely stopping Florida for just putting in the momentum. Lundell tries to do it, but that was saved by Decord. And Samsonov nearly gets one. And then there was one shot with Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe was somebody that the net was completely wide open. It was wide open for a finish with Verhaeghe, but that puck just went to the left. Oh my gosh, he was wide open to make it a 2-1 game, and it just could not go in. Now, after all that fun stuff, Forsling still tries to get one in with the slap shot this time on the one-timer, but that was saved by Decord. Forsling again with the one-timer, but that was saved by Decord again. And then Kulikov gets blocked by McCann. Shane Wright with the wrist shot, but that hits wide. And Florida kept the puck to extend their point streak at least. So they extend their point streak, which means end of regulation. We go to overtime in Seattle, Washington. And it's going to be 12:35 a.m. at this point. And mind you, I have work in the morning of my other job. So the first line, I think it's Barkov, Reinhart, and Tkachuk. The first shot on target in overtime came from Carter Verhaeghe with the wrist shot, but that was saved by Decord. And then Jerry McCann has the puck, but Bobrovsky saved it. And a couple of chances were kind of fast breakaways. Next shot on target came from Samsonov, but that went straight to Joey Decord. And then the next one, shots are being blocked by Seattle. And then Florida's shots being blocked by Seattle shots were being blocked by Florida. But Andre Burakovsky with the wrist shot, but that was also saved by Bobrovsky. In fact, that was an insane save. That puck was going towards Bobrovsky and it hit the backside of this stick. That was insane, bro. I'm not joking. Go watch that replay. The next shot on target is Verhaeghe. He almost finished it off, but that was saved by Decord, of course. And then Seattle with one last chance. George Strand with the wrist shot that misses wide. And Beniers nearly finished the game off, but Bobrovsky saved it. And then we go to shootout. Our second shootout of the season. Our first one came against the Flyers in Florida. So it starts off with Eli Tolvanen and he goes in, he tries a wrist shot against Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky was locked in the entire shootout, folks. He was, in fact, since he gave up that first goal, he was locked in the entire game. That is a good rebound. Next up, it's Barkov, and Barkov with the filthy backhand. He before he even shot off, he was going to faked the cord with the between the legs. It looked like he was going to shoot between his legs, but then very quickly changed the position to get the backhand in. That was filthy. How does Barkov do this? How does he do this? I'll ask questions later. Well, actually, I already asked a question. But either way, Bjorkstrand is next for Seattle. He tries the backhand against Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky saved it. And then here comes Reinhart to potentially finish the game off, and he did. Reinhart finished the game off with the wrist shot that went by Joey Daccord, and the Panthers win the shootout 2-0. And more importantly, the Florida Panthers with a comfort behind victory against the Seattle Kraken. And again, in Seattle, Washington, big win. Always a big win, especially in the West Coast. And the Panthers win this one 2-1 against the Kraken. I love it. Now, when we take a look at the team stats, Florida dominates with shots on target with 33 for 18. They put a lot more shots than that, but I'm just saying. Joey Daccord, that's how good he is. Joey Daccord saved 32 out of 33 the Panthers gave up. And Bobrovsky with 17 saves out of 18 shots on target that Seattle put. 29 hits from Florida, 16 hits from Seattle. Seattle with 3 more hits than the Panthers, or 2 more hits, or 2 more face-off wins than the Panthers did. See what it's doing to me? I'm tired. 33 face-off wins. Florida with 31. Seattle had 3 power play opportunities. They got nothing out of that one. And 2 power play opportunities for Florida. They got nothing out of that one either. 13 block shots for Florida. 18 block shots for Seattle. 8 takeaways for Florida. 3 takeaways for Seattle. 11 giveaways for Seattle. And then 9 for Florida with giveaways. And stars of the game. I'm kind of surprised by this. I'm kind of surprised with the weight that stars of the game had. But 1 star that goes to Barkov with 1 star. And the other stars of the game are the Kraken players. 2 stars, I mean, I can make an exception with Joey Daccord with 2 stars with 32 out of 33 saves that he has made. He was just absolutely unbelievable. He was unbelievable against the Panthers team. He really was. But 3 stars goes to Chandler Stevenson. He was the one that opened the scoring up for the game. I feel like this could have gone to Reinhart. He was the one that assisted Barkov, and he was also the one that finished the game off with the shootout. But I don't know. I don't know if I liked it too much. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Our next game is on Thursday. We go a couple of hours north to the border to face the Vancouver Canucks. Now, that alone is tougher than playing in Seattle. It really is. So that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to bed. I got work in the morning. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe for content, because Miami TVG has it back. And when it does, hit the right there with the fear you deserve. This is Miami TVG. Sign up, folks. Good night, everybody.